Good evening and welcome to the second annual Department of English Student Showcase. Like many events over the past year, we're coming to you virtually, and we're excited to show you some of the most thoughtful, creative, moving, intriguing, and nerdy work our students have done this year. My name is Andrew Murray, Academic Advisor Extraordinaire in the Department of English, and your host for the evening. I've done a few events like this before, but this is the only one that has about a 70% chance of being derailed by my cat. Despite the myriad challenges we have all faced and continue to face, as Spartans and as world citizens, we continued to do what we love to do in 2020 and 2021. Study the human experience through the lenses of literature, film, media, and more. I believe that being able to continue our study of English and film, immersing ourselves in stories, in culture, and in each other, while also grappling with global health issues, societal injustices, and more, is truly remarkable. It's a unique combination of curiosity and determination, focus, and courage. What follows is a presentation of what makes us uniquely the Department of English. Please join us immediately after the premiere via Zoom for open conversation and community connection. Navigate to bit.ly/IngShowcase 2021. That's bit.ly/ENG Showcase 2021, all lowercase. Grab a snack and settle in, because here we go. Enjoy.
There are many reasons I watched iCarly, but looking back, I think its greatest impact on me stemmed from its eccentricity. If you aren't familiar, the show is about 3 young teenagers who decide to develop a webcast in which they can just be kids, saying whatever they want without any adults telling them they can't, and their subsequent rise to fame. From messing with a detested doorman to dinners of spaghetti tacos, there is no telling what might happen next. Spencer Shea is the biggest culprit of this whimsicality, and it turns out that a lot of my personality is actually stolen from this character. Spencer is a freelance sculptor whose style can best be described as junkyard surrealist, with popular works including a robot constructed of empty 2-liter bottles and a gummy bear chandelier. He dropped out of law school to pursue this career despite disapproval from his grandfather, a lawyer himself. He's often criticized by the other characters for being immature, but he always proves to be a responsible guardian to Carly, his little sister. He's a bit of a womanizer, definitely a hippie, and ultimately a person who loves deeply. There are a slew of parallels between this character and my overall personality and life choices. My grandfather is not a lawyer, but he is successful and wildly intelligent. After a year and a half at Princeton, he developed his own company with my grandmother, and since then they have lived comfortably. He is an intellectual by all means, one who can speak eloquently on subjects ranging from astrophysics to the Civil War. He always encourages me academically and pushes me to be my best. I felt that I had a lot to live up to. My plan throughout high school was to get into his alma mater and study international affairs. But life doesn't always work out the way we plan, and more often than not, that's for the better. I was miserable studying politics. All I wanted to do was write. My stories are my wacky sculptures. They challenge me in diverse ways, and I am so passionate about them that I gave up a potentially successful career in politics just so I could keep writing. I wasn't consciously thinking of Spencer when I made this decision, but the similarities are undeniable. I'm sure Jerry Trainer's shoulders hurt from carrying this show, but iCarly remains iconic to my generation, and its comical style has indubitably shaped the way we interact in humorous settings. Tons of people have flocked to social media to reminisce about their favorite childhood program, seeing its universe from a more mature lens. Jokes that went over our head as children now make us laugh the hardest, and goofy grown-ups have become quintessentially romantic, unconventional artists. It's a full circle for us all, audience and actors alike. And I hope that that's fine, you know, like it's not like this video is 10 minutes long because I didn't want to, you know, good yard. No one can ever see how painful this is. and it's off kills. I feel as though that will be as good as this gets. It's okay, because I can... It's fine. I will start over. It's the way we interact in humorous.
あと2日ね。どうすればいいの？誰でもいいから伝えてくれ。畜生。一期一会、私が子供の時学校で習った熟語、たくさんの人から同じような愛や痛みを受けてきたから、私は全然意味がわからないわ。もし人間って分かり合えないものや人のことを怖がらなかったら、私少なくとも自分のことをコントロールできたかもしれないね。だけど、この人種差別的な移民システムでは一体何ができるの？アメリカンドリームを生き続けるためだけに誰かを愛するふりをしないといけないの？私は絶対そんなわがままのことはできない。だって今までなんとかなってたよね。私もみんなみたいに自分の気持ちを書いてたけど、返事がもらえないなんておかしいよ。もしそれが問題なら、少しの期待の中で私は自分の問題を空に叫ぶしかできない。終わっちゃった。私はシカゴには行ったことないし、誰がこれを私にくれたのも覚えてないわ。寄っていたけど、これを受け取った感覚はあるし、これって彼らが私を仲間だと思ってたのかなと思った。もう多分手遅れ。私はアメリカンドリームに手が届いたと思った時に追放されるの。少なくとも私は分かってる。今のところ、これが私の言わないといけないことのすべて。全部の出会いに終わりがあるとは思わないし、これがずっと続くことでもないのも分かってる。そう思うでしょう。
Hello, I'm C, the president of MSU Sigma Tau Delta English Honors Society. And this is Mark, vice president of Sigma Tau Delta.
Sigma Tau Delta is an international English honor society which was founded in 1924. Our chapter here at MSU was founded in 2014 and has been returning to campus after a brief hiatus.
One of the opportunities that Sigma Tau Delta membership brings is the opportunity to present at regional and international conferences. Last semester, Mark and I presented our individual work at regional conferences and are going to share excerpts from our conference pieces. I decided to try my hand at poetry and wrote a full-length poetry manuscript titled, Is This Why I Went to College? Poems about Zoom University. Here are the first two pieces in that collection. It was a cold March day when the world ended. 6 months later, it isn't fixed. I've seen enough memes and Netflix shows. I just want to go back to normal. Is this why I went to college, I wonder? As I stare endlessly into the Zoom call void, trying to corral the endless distractions and feelings of hopelessness. I've got it better than other people. I used to homeschool. But I can't help but feel betrayed because I'm paying the same amount and have been quarantining since the start. Why am I being punished? Why is my tuition still this high? When I can't even work or see my friends, and I'm certainly not going to parties. I'm just studying, trying to get through the endless workload. Because my professors think I've got all this free time when really I don't, because the world keeps going on. It's week 5. I don't understand how I'm already so tired. Is this why I went to college? Thank you.
Yes, great reading, C. I wrote a fiction piece titled Lessons in Red, and this piece is divided into various short vignettes, and it details one town's struggle in the wake of a zombie apocalypse. So here is the first section, which is titled Into the Wide World. All around me is darkness, a choking, hazy darkness. The sun is bright and radiant as ever for the people, all the people. They have allowed darkness to consume them, eat them, mash them up with its serrated teeth, and then swallow them, piece by visceral piece. After being spat out, they always have this wild, hungry look in their eyes. They drool like dogs and lick their cracked, bloody lips over and over. They say that humans are a product of their environment, and that people learn many of their behaviors. They are correct. The trouble was that the darkness proved to be an excellent teacher. This omnipotent, malicious teacher taught its pupils an incredible hunger. Thus, the pupils learned that the only way to survive was to feed. As the darkness consumed them, they consumed each other.
Thanks, Mark. In addition to conferences, Sigma Tau Delta also offers members various opportunities for scholarships, networking, internships, and jobs. If you're interested in becoming a member, contact English advisor Andrew Murray. Full membership is by invitation only, but you do not have to be a Sigma Tau Delta member to attend our chapter meetings and events here at MSU.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at sigmataudelta.msu and sign up for our email list located in our Insta bio to hear about our upcoming events.
Thank you.
I keep coming back to you, and I ask myself why. Hey, guess I love that nigga too much. Just a waste of my time.
Who is it?
Making you satisfied.
What?
Hey.
You want to talk about it?
Not yet.
A year ago, you wouldn't carry a lighter.
A lot can change within a year.
How was it? How was it?
Oh. It was nice. Open casket with her hair done, and her friends and family were all there. You and a girlfriend?
That's great.
I guess. Well, as you can see, I'm stone cold sober. So, shots?
I have to work at 8 tomorrow. I can call in. No big deal.
To Olivia.
Olivia.
God, I hate shots.
How much longer?
So golden brown.
In minutes.
Why is brown gold, but not gold being brown?
I don't know. We should really get some sleep. Will! You know you can sleep on the couch, right?
It's too hot.
Okay.
Wait. Stay. Why do people leave me?
Will.
No, seriously, you're the only person I can ask. Parents hate me. Olivia's dead. It's me, isn't it? I ruined our relationship because I'm too scared. It's always something like, I don't know.
What?
No, I'm not mad at you. Never was and never will be. It's just what's wrong with me. Olivia died never knowing exactly how much I loved and cared about her. But she was my sister. I couldn't.
There were times where I wanted more, and I still do. But you never showed me.
Oh, Batsy, Batsy, Batsy. You've done it again. You've beaten me. Do you feel good about yourself? Because how was this a fair fight when I'm literally out here in a clown suit while you're all kinds of armored up and cosplaying as a Power Ranger? But you know, Batman? Wait, why am I calling you that? Your name is Bruce, isn't it? Wow, you're looking a little surprised there, Bruce. You surprised I figured it out? Not very genius detective of you. You know, there are not a lot of billionaires in Gotham City, right? I mean, who else would have that kind of money for that kind of technology? And even if you have that money, which you do, you just use it to beat the shit out of these misguided people from lower income brackets. That too dressed as a bat? Dude, you have issues. You don't need to beat us. You need therapy. Like, imagine how different things would be if you had used all that money for huge-scale systematic change. But no. Instead, you choose to be an angsty jerk Bezos who speaks like he has throat cancer and took a few martial art classes. You focus all your money on trying to defeat me. Meanwhile, I'm just a lower-class man trying to destabilize these horrible monopolies. The revolution is coming, comrade. Just you wait for it. The facade is up, because it's a little cringe to talk in this voice. clearly neither an American nor an actor. So let's not pretend this is a monologue for a film assignment, Bruce. This is real, genuine concern. It's an intervention. We believe you, we support you, and it's not your fault. I mean, kind of is, since you don't kill them as a rule, but instead you fracture every bone in their body and leave them to pay incredibly high bills in America's already broken healthcare system. But you get what I mean.
Alfred, are we the baddies?
Jumping up and down the floor. My hair is an animal, and once there was an animal. It had a son that mowed the lawn. The son was an okay guy. They had a pet dragonfly. The dragonfly ran away, but it came back with a story to say.
But she and her furry friends took down the queen bee and her men. And that's how the story goes. The story of the bees with those 4 dirty paws. La la la. La la la. La la la. La la la.
Hello, my name is Maria.
My name's Rebecca.
We are members of NCTE at MSU, and we're coming to you tonight to talk to you about our organization and what we have done this semester to create the Anti-Racist Teachers of Tomorrow. Yay, so exciting.
So just going through a rundown of what our presentation is going to look like. We're going to talk about who we are, besides a 4-year in a row winning club, why we decided to change our format for our normal teacher speaker series, our speakers this semester, and how you can get involved and when our next event is.
Awesome. Okay, so starting with who we are. So NCTE stands for the National Council of Teachers of English. So we are a student affiliate of their professional organization that encompasses English teachers all over the US. Not to brag, but we are a 4-time award-winning organization. So we've been recognized as Affiliate of the Year for the past 4 years in a row, and we're very grateful for that. We organize events like Teacher Speaker Series, which we'll be talking about today, as well as other campus events. But on the whole, we're just here to prepare English education students for all that they will face in the modern classroom.
So we decided to change out of some of our reaction to the Black Lives Matter movement this summer. We know now during the pandemic, and teachers are essential, but anti-racist teachers are especially essential. They can help support our students in different ways and provide them a way to go out into the world more empathetically and more knowledgeable about the types of things they're going to encounter. Also, our students deserve decolonized classrooms. They deserve classrooms outside of a white supremacist eye that include books that reflect who they are as a person. And this is essential to our education as educators, so much so that we are willing to go outside of our classes to receive that education, as it is important to educate ourselves on different topics that we might not be familiar with. Also, we'd like to thank the Office for Inclusion and Intercultural Initiatives, Dr. Emery Petschauer, and our NCT members for making this possible.
It's been a wild ride, so we're really grateful for them. They've really helped us out. So we're going to just talk a little bit about each of the speakers we've had this year. So our first was in December. Her name is Cristia Castrillo, and she's an educator in California. So from a different part of the world, or not the world, the US. And it was really awesome to have a virtual opportunity because we were able to connect with that part of the country. We talked a lot about social justice curriculum. She showed us some lesson plans. And the big thing that we learned is that we can give students the actual vocabulary for social justice. So pulling from like Freire and other scholars to help them understand and work with the world around them. Our second speaker we were really excited was actually an MSU alumnus. She graduated in 2017. Her name is Kelsey Wiley. She teaches now in Detroit at Cass Tech High School. And her big thing is activism. So she did a unit where her and her students wrote letters to people in power. So the school board, they even wrote to senators, the president, just to get advocacy for different issues like environmental activism, mental health resources, ways to make school better, etc. And she's really, she's just started her teaching career. She's in her 3rd year. So we also got some great advice for our first year as teachers, which helped to assuage some anxiety. And we feel really prepared going into the field.
And then our most recent teacher speaker was Christian Hines. I got introduced to Christian Hines through our national convention for NCTE. And she talked a lot about comic books and using comic books as a way of mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors so that our students can see themselves in the text that they're reading. Also centering Black joy, making sure that the stories we're telling are not tragedies. While on occasion that is important, we also need to keep in mind that we should be telling joyful stories that make students feel supported. And all this was through comic books and working with those. She gave us some great recommendations, some of which I already ordered.
So if you want to learn more from us, we have one more event where you can learn more about anti-racist teaching. This is going to be April 8th at 6 p.m. on Zoom with Dr. Carlin Borshin-Black, who is a professor at Central Michigan. The best way to know what we're doing and what we're getting up to is by following our social media. Our Twitter is at SpartanIngEd and our Instagram is at MSUIngEd. And we post all of our information about our future events there. We thank you so much for the opportunity today to talk about this. It's just really exciting to showcase what we've been up to. And we hope that you can come out and support us sometime soon. Thank you so much.
I was 11 years old when I moved to Corinth, Mississippi with my family. Before then, I had never feared for my life. Corinth is the type of small southern town that you don't think exists anymore. Everybody really knows each other. There are dozens of folks belonging to the same families, and the local diner is just called Diner. It's the kind of town that a female protagonist in a Hallmark Christmas movie would return to after working in the big city in order to reconnect with her roots and her inner Christmas spirit. At my preteen age, I was not politically minded, nor was I in tune with the societal and structural change for which my country was long overdue. I was a blissfully unaware kid who liked to eat crab rangoon and watch Walker, Texas Ranger when I was home from school. The school in question was, you guessed it, Corinth Middle School. This was a school without a clear racial majority, but one thing was very obvious to me very soon. I was the minority. If my memory serves me correctly, my half-Thai, half-white lineage made me one of 2 remotely Asian kids in the entire school. When I say I made every effort to be distinctly American in my activities, I mean I also played football. I had been playing center for at least 3 years at this point, and it wasn't hard to get a starting position on the team. Most of the boys on the team, black and white, didn't intentionally remind me of my race and treated me more or less like an equal, but there was always a look or a passing comment that made me think about it. It wasn't until we moved to this home that I was really forced to confront race as a factor to determine someone's level of comfort in an environment, and for the first time in my life, my race made me uncomfortable. On November 9th of 2010, things got a little out of hand. I was waiting to be picked up after practice, standing in the brisk autumn wind, wearing a long-sleeved t-shirt and carrying my North Face. I was very adamant about getting the jacket sweaty, and instead decided to brave the bit of cold while I waited for my mom to leave her restaurant to get me. On his way out, Tanner Lancaster, a defensive lineman, lit up a cigarette and walked out the dressing room with a few of his droogs. I don't recall their names, but they reminded me of the main characters from DuckTales. Tanner was maybe 12 years old, but he looked 35. He was all tall and hairy, with a chin and build that made him look like an Italian Easter Island head. "Waiting for your mama, boy?" Tanner said, allowing the smoke from his Marlboro to nonchalantly escape his mouth. It took me a moment to realize he was talking to me. "Yeah." "Well, it's going to take a long time for her to get here from China," he replied. Huey, Dewey, and Louie had a good laugh from that. I was more annoyed than offended, so I ignored him and stared out into the parking lot. Mom could not arrive soon enough. Tanner, unfortunately, didn't find this reaction appropriate. His casual pestering slowly turned more intense. He proceeded to do an impression of what he assumed my mom sounds like, incorporating his best iteration of the language known as Ching Chong. What he lacked in fluency, he made up for in confidence. Maybe all Tanner needed was a little resistance to make him back off. I quickly flipped through my mental Rolodex of redneck-related comebacks, but I failed to produce anything that had yet to be glorified by Jeff Foxworthy. Instead, I opted for a classic. "Will you fuck off, Tanner?" My response met with condescending noises of hype from the Duck Trio. Needless to say, my words bounced off Tanner's incredible chin like a missile on Godzilla. He was obviously not in the mood for fucking off. Instead, he escalated his once casual, now intense pestering to something I hadn't yet seen: anger. He charged toward me. I had my back to the brick wall of an equipment shed and opted to hold my hands in front of my face like he was a beam of sun. "What'd you say?" Tanner asked, once again incorrectly assuming my race, this time with a slur. I wasn't in a place to correct him, though, since his left hand was tightly around my throat. I think Huey, Louie, and Dewey might have said something too, but I struggled to make out any of my surroundings. This was either because of my lack of oxygen or the impact of my head against the wall. "Tell me to fuck off again, short round," Tanner said as he slammed my head backwards with each syllable. That's when I felt the warm tingle running down my spine. When I realized that feeling was blood escaping the back of my head, I feared for my life for the very first time. I dropped my precious North Face to the ground and put both hands around Tanner's wrist, but his mysterious right hand finally made a surprise entry and struck me in the gut. Now my hands had to be occupied by the place eliciting the most pain. That was a smart distraction. I think Tanner said some more words, but I'd be hard-pressed to pick out the important ones. I think the DuckTales boys had realized that a goofy exchange of colloquial insults had turned into something they shouldn't be caught staring at and took off. Tanner was the unceremonious winner, but that apparently didn't satisfy him. He used his punching hand to hold my nose shut so I would gasp for air while simultaneously trying to yell for help. Then, being quite the opportunist, he yanked the burning cigarette from between his teeth and pressed it to the inside of my mouth, landing somewhere between my right lower gums and cheek. This elicited a burning sensation that I would always remember every time I tried food that was a little too hot or even bit my tongue. Tanner made some kind of pointed comparisons to dragons and fire breath, a passing instance of intertextuality from a man held back for failing literature. After that, he let me rest. As he disappeared from my consciousness and school premises, I slowly fell to the ground, tears streaming down my cheek, letting out a miserable howl I had never heard from myself. Every barbaric impulse of anger and pain came pouring out of me at once, formulating in a symphony of noises and absolutely no words. I pulled my jacket around me. I wasn't worried about ruining it anymore, since it was already doused in my blood. I never played football again. More importantly, my feelings changed. What was originally anger toward Tanner slowly became disappointment over time. As I began to realize that he was not a case of exceptional evil, and many have suffered worse as a result of an individual's bigotry, I began to pity him and the various factors that made him so hateful. My anger only went as far as I could physically manage a constant forehead crease. Then it developed into something I hope was more progressive, but ultimately made me more sad. Anger was easy. It was my gut instinct. But my own hatred of Tanner and the people like him began to feel more like a punishment to myself than anyone else. In 2018, I read Tanner's obituary. He died at the age of 20 from an overdose of prescribed opioids. I didn't feel schadenfreude or relief like my younger self might have. Instead, I couldn't shake the ironic thought that if Tanner knew where opium originated from, his own racism might have saved his life.
If life is an experiment, then maybe I should break up with him so he can never look at me again, even if I want him to. Maybe I should break all of my fingers backwards so I can never write again. Maybe I should just suck it up. Maybe I should volunteer as a beginner magician's assistant, cluelessly crawling inside a velvet-covered box so I can never see that trick ever be carried out again. But maybe I will cure the illusion and appear glorious yet again. Maybe I should brave the walk back home, dragging my legs across the freeway until my toes are embossed with icicles, or until I'm a citizen of the cold itself. Maybe I will leave everything and everyone behind. Not a note, not a footprint, not a puff of air. Not a sugar-coated apology, not even the tittering ponderance of maybe I should try again, because by that time, maybe I would have already disappeared.
I'm Tessa, and this is my arrangement of Telegraph Ave by Childish Gambino.
I was making Japanese and she's watching DVDs in Oakland, in Oakland. Now I'm driving up the 5 and she waits till I arrive in Oakland, in Oakland. Everything that I wanted, only gotta drive for the moment. If you tell me turn around, then I'm on it for the moment. But you know me, you know how I get when I'm lonely, and I think about you in the moment. But everything you do is so Oakland. Foot on the gas, I'm just trying to pass all the red lights and the stop signs. I'm ready to go before I get to the bay, babe, that's a problem, because I'm way too scared to call. You might get me to stay. I don't really mind the drive, but I think I'd rather die in Oakland, in Oakland, with my hands on 2 and 10, so I guess it all depends on Oakland, on Oakland. roll for a minute. Wait a minute. Foot on the gas. I'm just trying to pass all the red lights and the stop signs. I'm ready to go, ready to go. I get to the playback, that's a problem, because I'm way too scared to fall. You might get me to stay low. In Oakland, two-headed so
You fool! Your time in jorts has been cut short.